Hey, Bayek, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, I'm continuing my look at classic Doctor Who. Yes, the golden ages of, well, the third and fourth Doctors. Brilliant stories. And this is The Mutants from 1972. And this is a 6-part story. It's from season 9. Previously, we'd had the Sea Devils, and then the next one is the Time Monster. This is a really interesting story, which I don't know whether we've kind of have had this one talked about enough, because it's an interesting story for its time, as you'll see, particularly on the subject matter. Now, it was transmitted on the 8th of April 1972 to the 13th of May 1972. It's written by, yes, the team of Bob Baker and Dave Martin. They contributed 38 episodes to Doctor Who, which includes, like, The Claws of Axos. That was the first one, Pertwee story in 1971, which was reviewed. They did the Three Doctors. They did Robot. I know that 1974. And of course they did The Hand of Fear, 1976. That's just some highlights of the stories that they covered. They're a great team, always full of interesting ideas, as certainly we'll see on this story. It's directed by Christopher Barry, who we know from, well, going right back, the Daleks, episodes 1, 2, 4, and 5 from 1963 to 1964. William Hartnell, First Doctor, brilliant. He also highlights, again, of directing Doctor Who, Power of the Daleks, 1966, absolute classic. And of course, another story to point out is The Demons, 1971, which I think they consider their greatest Doctor Who story. And also, wow, The Brain of Morbius, 1976. These are just some highlights of the Doctor Who stories that they wrote. And of course, again, it's produced by Barry Letts, and the script editors, of course, Terrence Dix. Now, location filming, we've got at Chisholm Caves near Bromley, which really adds quite a lot to the atmosphere. Also, the Blue Water Quarry in Kent, which is now the Blue Water Shopping Centre, which I think is quite well known. But yeah, then we've got the quarry again. Again, it adds the alien atmosphere which they were looking for the planet involved in this. Now, the designs, I think, are worth pointing out. Yeah, the designs are so good. Particularly as usual with Doctor Who, you know, you've got a certain budget and they manage to get the best out of it. And the designs of the mutants are really good. Excellent. I think they are. They're outstanding. So what I'll do now is talk about the cast. Then we'll look at the whole story about what it's about. So the cast, of course, is John Pertwee as the third Doctor. Then we've got Katie Manning as Jo Grant. Now, Paul Whitson-Jones plays the Marshal. He's the villain, you could say. Anyway, he's an important part of the story. His career went back to 1955. Films like Doctor in Distress, 1963. A brilliant film that I absolutely loved, The Mask of the Red Death. A Roger Corman film, 1964, with Vincent Price, one of my favourite films. It was in Life at the Top, an important 60s film, 1965, and a Hammer film, which I love, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, 1971. Absolutely superb. If you haven't seen that, you should see it. Yes. It was also involved in Doctor Who's story, 1966, First Doctor, The Smugglers. Yeah, so he's got a Doctor Who career there, even if it is just one story. Then we've got George Pravada, who plays Jaeger. His career went back to 1957. He had roles in Thunderball, 1965, the James Bond film, and another Hammer connection, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, 1969. A Clint Eastwood film, 1982, Firefox. Yes. Nice connections. These are just sort of roles that they weren't necessarily big roles, but it's really nice to see that they're in these kind of films. In Doctor Who, of course, he was in The Enemy of the World, a Patrick Troughton story, 1967 to 1968, which is from the 5th season. Oh, yeah, that was one that is a very good story, and one they were able to get complete. It was discovered just not that, well, it is now quite a while ago. It's probably one of the last Doctor Who lost episodes discoveries, but they've got it all now, which is great. Also, he was in The Deadly Assassin, which is important, episode 1976, which was the 14th season. Then we've got Rick James, who plays Cotton. He's an Antiguan actor who was involved very much in theatre, but did make some appearances, particularly in the 1960s. For a black actor, this was quite it was quite good and groundbreaking. But most notable stories that he's in is actually not in Doctor Who. Blake Seven, yes, Blake Seven. He appears in 1981 penultimate episode, The Warlord. Fantastic. I love it. Because Blake Seven is so much tied to Doctor Who, really. You know, even though it's obviously a different universe, different stories. But yeah, it's great. Then we've got Garrick Hagon, who plays Key. He's got an interesting set of films. Star Wars, he was involved in. New Hope, 1977. Cry Freedom, brilliant Richard Attenborough film from 1987. He was in Spy Who Loved Me, 1977. Bond film, Roger Moore, of course. He was in Batman. Yeah, Batman, 1989. Jack Nicholson. Batman, remember? Michael Keaton. Oh, yeah. He was in also a very interesting film, Red Lights, from 2012. Then we've got a face which was familiar in terms of British television, Geoffrey Palmer, who plays the administrator. We'd seen him in Doctor Who before. He was in Doctor Who and the Solarians, 1970 story. The first season of John Pertwee's Doctor. He was also in Voyage of the Damned from 2007. David Tennant story with Kylie. Yes, Kylie was in that one. Brilliant Christmas story. It was. It transmitted at Christmas. Brilliant. Fantastic. But in terms of television, he was a legend. He appeared in all sorts, but comedy, Butterflies, 1978 to 1983. As Time Goes By with Judi Dench, 1992 to 2005. So they're quite a television famous actor. Yes, that's Jeffrey Palmer. What is this story about? Well, it's set in the 30th century above the colony world of Solus. The Marshal of Solus, who is has jurisdiction over this planet for Earth, is really plotting to make the atmosphere breathable only for humans, but not the natives, Solarians, or Solonians, that's it, we'll call them. And Dr. Joe arrive, and the doctor has been sent these artifacts, which he must give to them, these tablets, which contain lost information about this race. Very interesting, important that they see all this as part of their heritage and that. But and also the picture is that Earth is deciding that it no longer wants to control this. It's decided that they're going to decolonize. They're going to leave the planet. And of course, the Marshal is opposed to that, and that's why he's doing everything to obstruct it. We see also the sort of how those have been fighting for freedom, the Solanians, and we see how the mutants, as they are treated in such a bad way, and they call them mutts, which is often apparently goes right back to when the writers were doing it, to a South African apartheid system abuse terms. It came from that, using that word, because basically the story is about colonialism and apartheid. The separation. You see it when they sit on the station above, circling the planet. You see it all there. You see the way they treat the Solonians. It's all there. And this story is very political, you could say. And for its time, it's quite outstanding. What is interesting is if they put this sort of story together today, they would be going on about the woke and the preaching and all that kind of stuff. But you never feel it does that at all. It's never like that, and it's done in a really good way. I think the problem with this story is it hasn't had as much recognition, is because I think it's 6 parts. It's in 6 parts, which is quite a lot. And maybe it's a bit too long. And it kind of got swallowed up, I think, because there's so many good Third Doctor stories. This has kind of just got a little bit put down, even though it's a very groundbreaking story. It's entertaining. I didn't find the 6 parts too bad at all, but I can appreciate why maybe people were critical of it. There's some great things in this story, and acting is really good. And the special effects, particularly with the mutants as well, and the way that the idea about them evolving, absolutely fantastic. It really is. Great story. It really is. Now, this came out on VHS 2003, DVD 2011, and then, of course, it's made its appearance in Doctor Who The Collection of 2023, Season 9. Brilliant. Absolutely love it. I'll show you it. Well, I'll show you this first. Here we are. And this is a 2-disc collection. Absolutely amazing. There's some two particularly great, outstanding documentaries on this second disc, full of extras, full of wonderful extras. Really wonderful. Yes, I love it. I say you always get this as well. The information on there, as I say, the 2 discs. And then to add to it, there it is. Absolutely fantastic, isn't it? Oh yes, it's on here. Same extras and more, plus more for this story. Oh yeah, love it. So, highly recommended. This classic Doctor Who. And that's it. I've been going on far too long. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We'll let you know when I put out these videos. And have a look at the playlist. You can see all the previous things I've done on Doctor. But I do loads more films. Just nostalgia based. And if you like this particular video, please give it a like to get it out onto YouTube, and hopefully other people might appreciate it, algorithms and all that sort of stuff. And buy a Kit Cost note as well. And if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. You can't say fairer than that, can you? Buy it, you can't. So that's it. All I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.